All right, hello and welcome back, everyone, here to game number 4 in the MPGL Season 6 Wildcards. It's the best of 5 semifinals, and I don't think anything is going to be topping that last game, but as I said, game 4, MVP.Hot6, Team Pokerface. I'm Helium returning as Blaze, and we have a completely different set of picks this game, so, well, it'll be something different, at least from the first 2 games. Game 3, a little ridiculous.
Yep, but they kind of go ban out the heroes that have been most picked in this matchup here. Ember, Elder, and Razor all taken off the table. Tide makes a reappearance, but yeah, we'll see if it's going to be to the same effect that we saw last time. Did win out, but it took a while to get really going. But we see Death Prophet, Naga Siren being picked up. A lot of push potential, split push, direct push, negative armor, physical damage. It's a lot of cool components to add in. As well, the Song of the Siren can be a really good way to break down the chain of initiation that MVP.Hot6 will look to bring as well. So, good hero overall. Interesting to see her picked up this early on, though. She usually isn't really mentioned. So, if you wanted to hide that aspect of your strategy, you probably could have waited until third or fourth pick. Nevertheless, he's here. People wonder, if the strategy we saw from the Tinker Kunkka combo was so damn good, then why don't they pick it up again? Well, first of all, the enemy kind of got wind of how to deal with it. If they use extremely well-timed Yule Scepters of Divinity, they can kind of counteract some of the aspects. Another aspect is if you pick up either the Kunkka or the Tinker, I'm pretty sure the other team might have looked for a denial pick just to make sure that that was not going to happen again. So maybe worth a second phase ban, but the first phase, it's all about these prime pickups, the one that they've been fighting over throughout the match so far. Game 4 of the best of 5, they've gotten a pretty good idea of what they're up against, and in this case it's going to be Pokerface looking to carry it late with Naga Siren banning out 2 hard carries.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's an ambiguous pick. The Naga doesn't have to go towards the carry. It's likely to transition to a support, and then, of course, the carry safe lane or even the mid. Naga Siren very popular, but you got the Death Prophet, so your mid lane is most likely taken care of. Death Prophet, though, a little weaker in the mid lane than she has been in the past, like in 6.81, for instance. Even the start of 6.82p. I think it wasn't until 6.82c where Death Prophet saw the reductions on Crypt Swarm damage, so her early laning presence hurts a little bit. And we go green on Hot 6. Viper, annoying. Got hit a little bit with the mech costing more mana, a little bit of changes to his corrosive skin. Overall, still a strong hero. Tidehunter, though, very, very good. They pick it up on the dire side, so we'll have to see if Pokerface will decide to block off those Ancients for the early part of the game or for those first 7 minutes.
Yeah, we'll see. Definitely needs some good control there. It is on the dire side here, so although there's actually less distance to walk from the off lane to the Ancients to stack them up, it's still not going to be the easiest to get them all that experience. They did nerf the actually, they nerfed the Radiant offlanes for Creequilibrium, but they opened up that path on the western side of the Dire offlane, which I think a lot more supports are using more effectively these days. So you can get easy smoke ganks, pick off on a hero that usually is very difficult to kill. I mean, you get early points in Kraken Shell, Boots, and Tangos up on Tide, and he's one of those heroes that you just can't bring down by yourself. But you combine the efforts of a couple, you're going to find at least a really good laning experience for the Naga Siren, and maybe some early push, as we were talking about. The Death Prophet brings a lot. The Jakiro is going to bring the Liquid Fire, and these towers are going to drop. This is going to give good gold across the board for Team Pokerface, which means Naga Siren will find her items a little bit early. We might see Jakiro being able to pick up a Yules. DP not only going for the Yules, but will be looking for that BKB as well. Against heroes like Tide and Ogre, you really need that immunity, and you need it relatively quickly.
Yeah, I actually kind of like the idea now more of, like, just make this Jakiro core, get a couple levels of Naga Siren as a support in the bottom lane, Riptide, push out the creep waves, take away a creep wave with your illusion, and, like, Jakiro gets that bottom tower so easy. And if they're going to do anything, then they rotate supports down to bot to try to slow down the push, which means Death Prophet has an easier time mid. Maybe she even gets that tower. I don't know. I feel like Liquid Fire is the better pushing force until Death Prophet's level 11. That's maybe not entirely true. That's just kind of the way I feel. But hey, it's Jakiro and Ogre Magi. Third pick goes for double heads on both accounts.
Yeah. Now, there's a lot of different ways that could perform the roles between the Naga and the Jakiro, but I still think that most teams are going to be running that carry Naga Siren. If you're looking for a support, there are better alternatives than Naga Siren. unless you're last picking her. If you see like a lifesteal and you want to ensnare that through Magic Immunity, Naga Siren's pretty great for that. You can also single him out during the song because he's the only one awake. But no, in this case, I think they are going to be prioritizing Naga Siren's farm. And Jakiro Darkseer is a great combo that we've been seeing for, I would say, well over a year and a half.
Ages,
Like,
like since 6.75.
exactly. That's definitely the time frame that we're working with there, where they just combine the vacuum with the ice path. We've seen this a lot from some high tier Western teams, and in this case, in the SCA Dotas or Korean Dota more specifically, we're going to be seeing it here. The last Jakiro pick, or sorry, the last Darkseer pick, wasn't really a big fan of because it was alongside a sniper. And in general, the draft, like the Darkseer did some great walls, some great vacuums, but there was no follow up. There was no AoE stuns. There was no AoE damage output. At least now you've got Crypt Swarm and Riptide on top of what Jakiro brings. You've actually got heroes that can dish out the deeps on top of that vacuum.
Vacuum into Shrapnel was obviously the synergy they were looking for there.
Fresher orb on the sniper just to get double shrapnel
Double
out.
Shrapnel. Yeah, it didn't work out, actually. That is the one game that MVP dropped. Although both you and I were kind of fans of that draft. The Darkseer did strike me as the odder pick, though. Disruptor going to get banned out here last by MVP.Hot6. They've taken out the Bat Rider. Centaur, I think, has been banned. It's been like the 5th ban, but it's been taken out almost every single game. Going back, we see the Eldritch and the Ember. No surprise there. Razor takes a fall. Brew and the Morphling and the Anti-Mage, both of which... Well, if you've seen the Morphling ban, we saw the Anti-Mage once in that very first dominant performance by Hot6. It was Raji on that Anti-Mage, and now the Skywrath is that last support ban out. Because, I mean, that's what Hot6 is looking for. They're looking for support. And I wonder who they'll pair with the Ogre Magi.
Yeah, tough call. The Skywrath would have been pretty much a go-to pick here, but now I would say maybe like a range counter-pushing hero would do a little bit better. So somebody can kind of hold the line there. I kind of like Rubik because when you spell steal the Crypt Swarm, which is usually maxed out by the time you get your spell steal up, you can actually completely destroy the enemy push by just spamming out the waves with a vast mana pool. Crypt Swarm maxed out and Fade Bolt will pretty much demolish the entire wave. So that's going to be helping you stay alive. But Ancient Apparition's not too bad. I mean, global strat a little bit. Where the tide is, a team fight is. Because the Spectre will be able to haunt in. There is no risk of being glimpsed back because the Disruptor ban. And the Ice Blast will come through as a follow-up. So right now they've got a lot of damage over time. Combined Ignite, the Viper, the Ice Blast, and Spectre's Radiance. It's going to be pretty nice if they can get out of the laning phase.
Yeah, a little bit of that global strat with the Spectre, with the Ancient Apparition. It can be pretty hard to deal with. They don't have the Zeus or the Nature's Prophet element, and I was actually thinking Hot6 maybe get greedy and pick up like a Nature's Prophet again for that global along with the Spectre, or even just the Enigma, the jungle quickly, but it's Team Pokerface. Sorry, I read it weird when I read all 3 of those words. It's Pokerface that go with the Enigma last pick. It can run into trouble, like if Darkseer has trouble in the off lane, Febi's playing that, and he wants to go back to the jungle, Enigma's kind of like, no, like go back to losing your lane. I'm good in the jungle. Like it's going okay. I'll have a mech at 10 minutes if I choose to build those items. But the obvious synergy here, Naga Siren sleeps, vacuum, black hole, wall, ice path, macropire, and exorcism damage. Like there you go. Can they pull that off though? That's the real question in this game for Pokerface.
Not in that order, but if you do the black hole before you end the song and then you vacuum them into it, yeah, there's absolutely no way that they don't get that. Like, the Ogre Magi, his cast animation isn't quick enough that if the Darkseer is ready with the vacuum, is not going to be able to pull him right into the black hole. So Nuts is not going to be able to cancel a black hole out of song because of the vacuum. And then the Tidehunter is the only hero from there that can do it. And obviously, they're going to prioritize getting him in the black hole first and foremost. So at any point in time, they surge that Naga Siren in. They've got the Wombo combo. They've got the Light of Heaven with his BKB. And they have got the ability to turn any fight in their favor. They've got amazing Roche control. They've got tons of potential to push down towers very early on, a lot of momentum. So really, MVP.Hot6 have to do something surprising and get themselves an advantage in the laning phase.
Here you go.
And that's a great way to start.
Yep, that's a 5-man chilling touch, but that's a big ice path eating through the trees. Nuts making the plays. He's got another stun here in 3 seconds. They won't even need it, though. They'll bring him down. First blood over to Jubei. The mid lane, the Viper here for MVP.Hot6 starting out with the first blood blocking those camps. Immediately pinged out by the Naga. They expect it. This also going to block out that camp there. So trying to slow down the Enigma, they'll block out another big camp. They'll block it out 2 times
Yeah,
over, 1 for
that's
4, 1 for
really good.
7. So you've got this medium camp to work with, which can't spawn mud golems. Not a problem. You can just grab a creep from the middle lane if you're Enigma, but yeah, camps are separated. That really slows down your rotation. And I mean, Pokerface, I feel like you have to expect that. Like, you get kind of greedy with this Enigma pick. You would expect MVP to be running into your jungle, getting up in your grill, and they give up an early first blood.
Yeah. So in this position, if I was the Enigma, as soon as I see the state of my jungle, I would just walk away, go to the enemy jungle. Unfortunately, the Ogre, the Ancient Empress, still have some decent pickup potential once Nuts gets to level 2. But at least at the moment, it's better than committing all these sentries. But he already has the sentries on hand. He'll deward this one. But there is no way that with his current resources, he can unlock this central hard camps with those 2 wards. So as it is, I mean, like, there's a spot where you can get very close to dewarding those 2. But as they've been placed, he won't be able to get that camp open. And actually, he didn't open up his western one. Did you see that? The center one's in range. He just didn't walk behind the tree. He's
Yeah.
gonna be as confused as can be about that one.
That's never good.
He's gonna kick himself so hard when he watches this replay. If he doesn't walk back and get fog war vision on that sentry ward, that is the saddest thing.
I mean, Sentry's last. He's got 3 minutes on his, so I'm sure he'll walk back in and find it. But he's going to realize another camp is blocked.
He's gonna
He'll work
deward the
over
magic
to
bush
the
ward
medium camp.
When if he sees these 2 are negated, he's gonna try to deward the magic bush ward with the one the indentation that you're talking about before.
Yeah.
And he's still not gonna get any wards. He's gonna be like, "What the hell is up with my jungle? No camps are here, but I have found 0 wards." Just absolute mind games. I don't even know what to say about this. He's gonna have such a slow build up, and he scouted out every spawn. Fortunately, they do. It's not even for no. It's fortunately for MVP.Hot6. Oh, he does get that observer ward, doesn't he? Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Is that out of range?
Apparently it is. The circles, as they appear, are a little bit weird, and from a 3-dimensional perspective, and it is literally on the line, but it is out of range.
Yeah, if anyone at Valve is watching, I would love to request the like skewing of the camera like they have in StarCraft 2 observer mode. That would be fantastic.
Anyways, Darkseid did die up top, just didn't get out in time with the combos here. They've got all these spells here, and with a Spectral Dagger on top, they're able to get a kill. This is actually going to be a max Spectral Dagger build from the Spectre, so a little bit more burst emphasis and magic damage. And yeah, they bring him down once, so they get 2 kills in their favor. Enigma's jungle is absolutely ruined. He has to go to the lane to do the thing you were talking about with the mud golems. I mean, this is a 3-minute soul ring. And finally you'll find that sentry ward. Oh my gosh, he has to hate himself right now.
Yeah, I mean, Enigma, though, he can make so much out of the jungle. Even though you slow him up a little bit, he can easily, even, you know, at level 3, flash farm his way back into that. However, actually, hopefully this is a soul ring. Yes, it is. Okay, if that wasn't a soul ring on the courier, he was screwed. But now he's got all the mana in the world, so it's easy recovery from here on out for 48-85. Darkseer, though, will not be able to take any part in that jungle. He's not having too hard of a time. He does go down, dying in the side shop there for the second blood for MVP, but he's up to level 3. His soul ring actually doesn't look anywhere near completion. Only thing on the courier is the boots coming out, the JU, the Death Prophet in the middle lane, rocking the new set here for the Death Prophet. I was checking that out in Showcase a little bit.
I can't stop but feel for this Enigma. Like, he is... yes, he can come back, but that's not the point. His tempo is
More mud
broken.
golems.
Yeah, he's like doing pure
You
damage.
feel for him, I laugh at him.
Oh my gosh. No, I've been in this situation, not this exact situation, but a situation similar to it too many times, where the wards don't land right. You're playing like Chen or something. He doesn't even kill the mud golem. Okay, that's just his fault. But I don't know. Like, in this situation, the Enigma, sure, he is going to be able to come back gradually. He's still going to have decent farm, but his tempo is absolutely destroyed. And he's not going to be able to push the towers as quickly as he wanted to. Like, the Jakiro is going to be level 7 with max liquid fire by the time the Enigma actually comes to help his lane, just because he's trying to catch up constantly.
Catch up. Should have picked an Omni Knight. Let's see how that pushing is going in the bottom
More
lane.
mud golems, are you serious?
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
more
my
red
god,
lights.
dude. 48-85 is about to roar. If this wasn't like, if this was a matchmaking or even just like a scrim, I guarantee he would have just left. I would have left. Like, nope, I'm out, boys. I'm gonna go eat some food or something. But bottom lane, the pushing, they're not really working on it too much because if you push, you give a lot of levels. But seeing that Tidehunter is like almost level 5 in 5 minutes, he's getting a lot of levels anyway. So I feel like you just start liquid firing this tower. MVP though, or MVP. It's like really hard to say this guy's name. MP. Doesn't want to have any part of that, I guess. Just trying to farm and keep that lane equilibrium. And meanwhile, the double ion shell's coming out. The soul ring's almost done for Febby. Bottom lane, they will jump on Sunbee. He gets a crack in there and an anchor smash off. Not a lot of damage, but this liquid fire comes in. He's got a salve, so I don't think they'll kill him. Meanwhile, 3 heroes converging on JYU. It's not enough there. JYU able to back off defensively. Is very fast. 3 points in that witchcraft. And boots up. And Sunbee salves. Will live another day.
Bottom line is, as a result of everything that's happened, the Darkseer having a really slow start, the Enigma getting just absolutely crushed by his own jungle, like, they can't do anything to Spectre. They cannot pressure the hardest carry in this game. People are arguing Nagu Siren is stronger. I would say she was a contender until the Diffusal Blade nerf. With Diffusal now down to a reduced mana burn, her illusions don't do as much single target damage. So no, she can wrap harder, but she can't carry harder. And yeah, we'll see. Rodji's just building up. He's got the Ring of Health. Might go for the Vanguard, or might just keep it casual to keep HP flowing. In either case, right now, he's looking really good for a well-timed Radiance and a well-timed start as a whole.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe he goes Vanguard because he didn't actually put any points in Dispersion. So maybe he gets the Vanguard to make up for that and then go like full offensive skill build. But I feel like at the same time, if you just get 1 point in Dispersion then build a more offensive item, I don't know which one's more efficient, but I'm going to go with just building an offensive item.
It just comes down to if he needs Phase Boots to confidently last hit. Right now he's at 31 CS, not bad, but not perfect. And if he needs the Phase Boots, he definitely should get them, because that would enhance his farm in mobility in terms of actually getting the right clicks he needs, and it gives more chasing presence in the fight. So as you mentioned, he could just get 1 point in Dispersion, pretty valuable, and we'll see what he decides.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best value points out there. He's got the money for the VIP booster. Courier's making its way back to base. It hasn't been detoured or scrambled out towards the secret shop. But speaking of phase boots, we see some coming out now for the Death Prophet. So the phase boots are there. You got a null tally, and you'd expect that you're working towards the Yule Scepter of Divinity next for the Death Prophet. So JU progressing nicely. We're only at 7.5 minutes. Maybe the games are just so ridiculous that it feels like this one has been longer, or I'm just really tired because I didn't sleep at all tonight. But 51-29 is the CS on MP here. 40-2 on Enigma, so like he's a rebound. He was a sad boy for a while, but yeah, already there. We've got Jakiro, 3 heroes all surrounding the Tidehunter right now. He's in trouble. He's got the Anchor Smash to buy some time. The rotation over even from Enigma. So at 8 minutes in, he still is able to hit level 7, and he's got like, he plays mind games with himself, but overall, like, he's already level 7 at 8 minutes. He could almost finish the mech. He's really not behind. And up top now, we'll look at Febby. They'll get him down. Ogre Magi going to get the kill there with the right click.
Yeah. I still don't feel it's about him. It's about the state of the team right now. The tower, Tier 1 tower should be dead. It's about to be, but it has taken enough time that Tidehunter is about to get level 6 off of it. And Spectre is matching Naga Siren for farm right now. Naga has 2,300 gold banked towards Sacred Relic. Rodji has almost 1,600. They're going to actually go for the Haunt play, and there's a black hole.
And he's going to get it on to, well, it was 4, but they'll sleep to disengage, and that's not the best use of that black hole. And Naga nice enough to stick around to make sure Enigma TP's out. MP, though, will then book it. And like you said, 2,400 gold in the bank, Boots of Speed, and the Ring of Aquila. So very quickly progressing towards the Radiance.
Yeah, massive cooldowns there. 180 seconds on Song, 200 seconds on Black Hole, nothing achieved for it other than forcing a Spectre rotation. And yeah, she's just going to go ahead to the mid lane here. They see the Exorcism in play. They want to bring her down. Viper Strike not going to be used, though, so they will not have a chance to engage her 100%. They felt that there was too much risk involving that physical damage flying out, and there's also a haste turn on Death Prophet, so that kind of negates any chance of killing her. They just ward her off the tower. They keep both the Tier 1 bottom and mid alive, and that gives more time for Spectre to farm up.
Spectre always going to make the most out of that. And it looks like with 1,700 gold will not be going Vanguard. It was just the casual Ring of Health, and you started with a Poor Man Shield, or Stout Shield, excuse me, and a Quelling Blade. So just holding on to those for now. Quelling Blade always pretty good, though. You can find yourself in some weird positions on a Spectre. But 1,800 gold. So you see, we'll go to the current gold chart. This chart doesn't get a lot of love. So we'll show it for a little bit. 2,700 is the current gold there for Naga. 1,900 on the Spectre, so about 800, 700 gold behind. And a little about 900 gold there for Sunby. He buys up the boots, looking towards, who knows, really, a quick Blink Dagger. Maybe just looking to go back down and start stacking some Ancients to get those big items out for the Tidehunter. But one of those big items coming out for the team overall is Viper picks up the mechanism at 10.5 minutes. That's like that old average timing. So Jube is doing very, very well. We'll go to net worth now. He's in third.
Yep. So, I mean, right now, the state of the game is kind of even for both sides. There's a Ravage up finally for the Tidehunter. He can make something happen. But there's still a lot of potential for either side to take the fights. And as far as farming goes, they're pretty close. There's a small, like a few hundred here and there. The Nagasaran and Death Prophet are a little bit better in farming, but honestly, I expect them to have a much greater gold lead at this stage in the game. Because their tower killing potential is so great, I really thought that they would just be thousands of gold ahead, but they're just a few hundred here and there. They're going to be able to maybe take this top tier 1, perhaps at the cost of the bottom tier 1. AA getting a lot of experience, and it looks like he will be finding his Ice Blast off of the next wave.
Yeah, looks like he'll be saying goodbye to the tower probably on the next wave as well. But like you mentioned, they're getting the trade out there in the bottom lane. That mid tower already fell, so I'm surprised that the tower that had the Jakiro in lane against it is still standing. Jube and Nuts TPing up top right now, looking to get onto Fabi. Ice Blast will connect, so first Ice Blast is a success. It brings down Fabi as he tries to surge away, but only about a little more than a minute after the Viper picks up the mech. And it's going to be PKF 40. I was just realized he had PKF twice in his name right now. 4885. What is this guy's name, really? It's 4885, though, on the Enigma. He picked up his mechanism as well, just a little under 12 minutes. And Sky, JU, 4885. I mean, this is the tri-core of the pushing lineup right here.
And they did actually get the last hit on that top tower. Despite being routed, the Enigma's Eidolons actually finished the tower up top, and they're going to look to push into mid. They have a double damage rune, the Exorcism, a great combo to have at this 12.5 minute mark. So they are going to be pushing pretty hard in this tier 2, but Glyph is popped, Ice Blast flies out, and they do also have to consider defending top. So as it is, looks like they'll commit, but at some risk. Yeah, the Yules will be coming up for the Death Prophet pretty soon. Up top is going to be a Song of the Siren. Black Hole turnaround coming in from 48-85, but they are a little late to the cancel. Finally it goes through, but the mechanism keeps them up.
Here's
and
the
they
haunt.
vote for the Haunt.
Jube still alive. He is pretty tanky. Use that mech. Might be able to bring down Enigma. Won't. He is, after all, standing and fighting in that Midnight Pulse. Spectre stays in the middle lane, not thinking it's worth it. And like you said, a little late there. I feel like they could have... Like, the TP had already started. I feel like you deny the tower while Enigma's TPing in and you do everything at once. Instead, they don't sync up perfectly. But overall, a good play.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, good way to use those combos. They obviously know how well the Song of the Siren and Black Hole can sync up together. And it's going to give enough time for Nagasiren to find the Radiance very soon. Only like 1,100 gold off of that. It's the one thing you were mentioning before, PKF.4885, the way it works is essentially on the leaderboards, he has chosen his name to be PKF.4885 to kind of show that he's on that team. Just on leaderboards as a personal name that he has officially registered. And then everybody on the team gets a PKF for being on the team as they're tagged up. So it just happens to duplicate there. That is Mr. 4885, make the black holes happen. And although he had a really, really rough jungle, like, to pretty much no fault of his own other than that ward check, he has been able to pull it back. Almost 5k net worth. He's actually above the Viper that was solo mid. Jube had a really rough time CSing, honestly.
Well, he's arrived, so he's not feeling too bad about it. Got the treads, got the mech. He's a little slow. I mean, like, Viper is not a fast hero. Something that balances the hero, barely. 335. I forgot how to read numbers at this point. after these first 3 ridiculous games. 335 move speed on the Viper, not the fastest heroes. Got to keep up with the 503 on the Death Prophet, or the 522, because she's got a haste bottled up, and I don't even know where Death Prophet is. Rotating back towards middle. As what do they want to do? They want to keep pushing on to the tier 2. I mean, all the tier 1s are gone. Actually, the bottom one isn't, but Naga finally dealing with that. Has the relic in tow right now. 1,100 gold, so very, very close to like a 16-minute radiance right now. As Nuts will spot out PKF as they try to get down the middle tower. What's the play here? There's no blink on the Tide. I guess this is the play. You just stun and you ravage. You only catch the Death Prophet, but that's really all you want to kill. He will Yule's up and be brought down. Maybe pops the haste there, but probably still dies.
2 right clicks, plenty to bring him down, and it's just a good play in general, combining the Ravage with the Haunt. Maybe not as potent as the Naga Enigma combo, but still warranted so that they can take any fight that they choose under those circumstances, assuming the Naga doesn't use Song to disengage. So Rodgi gets a nice little assist there, moves on to farm and finish off that Radiance. The timing is actually pretty close here. MP will be finishing his up about a minute ahead of the Spectre, but both will have theirs across the battlefield, and it's just about how they use it to farm from that point forward. Whose supports are stacking more? Is there much time for the Naga Siren to spread her illusions into the jungle? I feel like Spectre has more time to farm because of the fact that she can haunt to any fight. Naga has to be a little bit closer to the action, but she obviously spreads her aura with the mirror image. So there's pros and cons to both heroes having the Radiance up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's the farming item for both of them. I feel like Naga Siren just farms way better, and also Rats way better while farming with the Radiance. So it should be, if not a lot quicker, at least quicker. I don't know. I haven't really looked at the metrics of who can do what, but you'd expect the hero with the illusions that isn't on a 120-second cooldown will probably get a little more out of it. Raji might get some more out of the team fights, though.
Yeah.
And the rubber band gold can be pretty big. However, yeah, they actually are on the losing team right now. It's been Pokerface farming better, getting those towers as well. Not as fast as you might have expected since Enigma's jungle was shut down. It slowed his pushing, but he has rebound very nicely. 6,000 gold lead for Pokerface, only 2,000 experience. So a big fight could put Raji ahead of that Naga. They're close. It's like a 800 gold difference between the two of them in net worth.
Yeah. Todd's going to be building up with this big, massive stack of Ancient Creeps. Just anchor smashing those down, taking pretty much no damage in the process, thanks to Kraken Shell. And yeah, he's going to be building up towards a Blink Dagger, presumably very quickly, since Viper already has the mech. And in this position, that's very, very important for them, because they need the initiation. They are able to respond to situations pretty well, but Tide's not in position, then it's always going to be the Song Black Hole that ends the fights very, very prematurely. Sky going for the D ward with the Ice Path, kind of in enemy territory, but wards it up, sees the threat, and is able to just play around it pretty well.
All right, Raji going back to heal on that Spectre after picking up the Radiance. And Raji hasn't repeated a hero yet, right? I can't even remember back to the first game at this point. Oh, no, he was the anti-mage the first game. Second game, he was... You're going to have to help me again.
I'm going to have to help you again? Oh, gosh. No,
Third game, he was Tinker. This game, he's Spectre. First game, he was anti-mage. I can't quite remember what he was playing the second game, but it was something different. Sniper.
Yep.
So, yeah, he's been all over the place in this series. But what is all over the place right now is this sort of scuffle focused on killing the Jakiro. And they do kill the Jakiro. Actually, more importantly, they get the Enigma there by that. What do we even call that? The Tier 2 Dire Bottom High Cliff? That seems like a name for it.
Plateau, maybe?
Certainly, I picked the most concise name.
Well, there you go. Anyways, he gets picked off. Interesting progression for items. We're actually going to see the Ogre prioritizing his own farm over the Ancient Apparition. He gets the point booster. AA gets the boots. He's going to be the ward bitch for a very extended period of time, but changes that tune with this Hand of Midas pickup. He says, for now. For now.
Oh, yeah, free wards every 100 and whatever seconds. I don't even know. 100 seconds.
Even still, they just want to take this late game. They know that if they can hold the line, as they have so far, then they're perfectly fine to take this late. The Naga Siren is frustrating to play against in the late game, but it is not impossible. The biggest mechanics, I would have to say, in Pokerface's late game is the Black Hole, Wall of Replica, and just how Naga scales. Actually goes for a nice play against the Spectre, but if you look at it, dropping down very, very quickly, and the Ice Blast almost kills him, the mechanism just in time. Now 48-85 going for the combo, both the Maleficent and the Black Hole, and that is going to be the death of MVP's carry hero.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's worth it. That's going to be 50 seconds of no farming with that Radiance you just picked up. It's similar to Midas in that. I mean, it's not as bad, I guess.
Jungle at all, though. Like, I don't know why he's there. He can always haunt to fights. It's just, obviously, it was a close call, and if he found the pick off on Naga and walked away, it'd be a completely different story. But as it stood, he got kind of trashed there, and it's on the Viper to kind of build up a lot more now. Because the Spectre isn't keeping pace with the Naga, they need to kind of emphasize the fact that they have two very powerful core heroes.
Yeah, and speaking, I said the Radiance, like you pick it up, you want to farm, you want to always be using it, kind of like a Midas in that regard. Looking at Viper actually does have a Midas win for that, and as we know, Dubu working for that as well. So I believe you already pointed it out, but gearing towards the late game there, and maybe a gearing towards a tower push. They'll just put the Tide on the front line, so like we don't really need him to initiate. We'll just walk him in there. Hopefully he lives with Kraken Shell. And the only thing that would stop that is Black Hole, and it's down.
Yep, so right now the illusions are really easy to clear. There's not much HP on them. Later on they'll have a heart, and that'll be more problematic for the side of MVP. And especially because the Tide is reliant on that Blink to get in, as you were mentioning. Blink gets put on cooldown by that Radiance, and it's very difficult to close in any better than what we see from Pokerface. But at the same time, if you time that haunt well enough, they're going to be relying entirely on the saw.
Oh, big Ravage and a bigger Ice Blast. It only lands on Sky. It was very close to Enigma, but Raji will take care of that. Ogre again with another stun. Jubei finds the double kill off of that beautiful initiation. Meanwhile, up top, JU being annoying, doing what he does, forcing out a glyph, and will actually bring down the tier 2. Now only one remains in the bottom lane, also quite low. MVP struggling to find what is the last tier 1 tower, and it's the middle tower. It's important, though. It opens up the map, a little map control off of that, and of course the gold, the last hit there to Jubei, as I think a BKB was just finished up for JU on the Death Prophet, bringing out, yeah, fresh 10-second BKB for that DP.
Yep, so a nice tier 2 tower pickoff, but in the end, they get pretty crushed in that team fight, and MVP.Hot6, they're feeling rather confident. Just go in aggressively. It's going to be MP to just TP out of there. Needed mana anyway, so he'll be feeling back up at the fountain here. But we're actually going to see a pickup here for the Spectre, and I believe it's this Vanguard is going to turn into a Crimson Guard, in fact. The utility in general is nice, but against this team, it's essential. You've got potentially 5 illusions from the Darkseer. You've got Eidolons picking away. Actually, Febby going in. Can they get the Ice Path on target? Yes, they vacuum him back.
Yeah, just in case that missed for any reason, Ice Path, yes, the Ice Path. The Ice Blast coming in, lands on a lot. Sky trying to retreat through his own Macro Pyre, but will shatter in the end. Actually, Viper getting the kill credit there. The Nether Toxin probably doing quite a bit. So MVP with the 2-to-1 kill advantage, but they're still losing by 5,000 gold. XP is still not even in their favor, but it's very close. It's pretty minimal. It just goes to show you how much Pokerface is getting in terms of farm and map control and taking the towers with all that gold coming in from the towers.
But as per my previous point, the Crimson Guard is essential for MVP right now. They're up against potentially 10 illusions at a time between the Darkseer and the Naga Siren, as well as all these Eidolons. All of their damage is going to be taken out 100% until the Naga gets close to 6 slotted. They just don't have that much of an output at bonus 30, or just not just bonus 35% damage strictly. And yeah, it makes it so that if you have that Crimson Guard, you nullify all the physical damage that Pokerface are doing. And from there, you just need a pipe on one of your heroes. So we'll see if they progress in that fashion. Crimson Guard, though, I definitely think is the way to go this game. But for now, it's a casual Vanguard into Yasha. At least the Spectre will be able to block 40 damage 80% of the time. And actually, Naga!
No, he's going to shatter. Maybe. What is that? It's only a level 1. He's getting very, very close. He actually will not shatter. Okay. That'll do it. The wall going to be thrown down there in a response to that from the Darkseer. It forces MVP to run through it, but once again, it's another 2-hero pickoff with a nice Ravage with a nice Ice Path. Pokerface misses what could have maybe been a free kill there on the Ancient Apparition, but he's too quick, man. He dodges it.
Yeah, so, I mean, using the Ravage effectively, the Black Hole not coming out in that fight, so in general, they feel confident to go for Roast. As long as Song of the Siren's on cooldown, they're able to go in, they got the Bloodlust up, they're right-clicking it down, and they don't have any towers to lose. This is a nice thing, is Pokerface have nothing to trade for in this situation. We'll see JU farming up top, he'll go towards his next item relatively quickly, but in the end, it's not going to be anything compared to having that second life on Spectre. Able to haunt with full HP in the halfway through the fight is extremely powerful for getting those shatter kills. And yeah, Raji is going to be doing quite a bit of work here, though. In the mid lane, he's actually pretty low HP, so should watch out for maybe an aggressive blink play from the Darkseer or something.
He picks up the casual Yasha. We talked about it being the best casual item in the game, and I don't think anyone can refute that. I tried, but I was wrong. I do agree with you, though. I feel like he'll go back for the Crimson Guard. It is kind of expensive, like going for that, but it seems worth it. It's great for your team overall, and they've shown that they're willing to be diving past these towers to throw off the Ravage and the Ice Blast combos, and Crimson Guard really, really helps. If there's one thing it's good for, it's diving towers as a team.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he will go for it. I actually probably would say there's like a 70% chance that he won't, but I definitely think he should. Either way, at least in a selfish sense, you are the carry hero. If you get that damage block for yourself, which is, it's almost as good. Like the 80% with the 40, you're looking at about a item that's about 70% as powerful as Crimson Guard, and you don't have to spend that extra gold, and for yourself at least. So that and Cracked Shell is already in play for Sunbee, so that's not going to help him at all. Well, it'll help him exactly 10 damage reduction, which doesn't come into play all that often. So yeah, I could live with or without it, but I personally would say it's the best option for him, even though he probably will just go the Manta style.
Wow. Not an item you see every day on Jubei's Viper. Well, maybe you do see it every day on Jubei's Viper, but Viper in general, you don't see the Mjolnir often because this is the thing. Like, it's a unique attack modifier. Poison attack is a unique attack modifier, but whether you're using poison attack or not, if the lightning procs, it will override it.
Another missed deny.
Yeah, I don't know. Another toxin works on that too. Like, that should just not happen.
That's unfortunate.
But a different team, right? So one missed deny per team.
No, top they missed the deny against the Enigma as well.
Oh, then we got a lot of missed denies. They'll bring down the forest. Smokey the Bear not happy about this. Raji probably not too happy either. Can he live? No, but let's not forget he has that Aegis. They're going to try to chain it up. They will throw the Black Hole for this. The Midnight Pulse is going to run out. The Ravage should try to get him out of dodge. And let's see, he will not get out. There's too much damage chasing him down, but I think you're going to pay for this. JU will go down. 3 buybacks available, so it's not base breaking yet, but it's still a very, very good trade for MVP. When you use the Aegis, you hope your Spectre lives through to see the end of it, but he'll fall for the greater good here, and it's MVP. They've brought back the gold. They win the team fights substantially, and they're going to start to take towers off of it. They're already 7,000 experience ahead, maybe 6, but at equilibrium, crossing the threshold. MVP, in terms of numbers, officially ahead.
Yeah, and right now, Pokerface have absolutely nothing to fight with. They have the Wall Replica, and they just use the Macro Pyre, but the other cooldowns are completely gone. Exorcism is a really long cooldown these days, and Spectre's not the only carry. She'll be able to hunt to the fight in 20 seconds, but for right now, Bloodlusted Mjolnir Jubei is not only doing a lot of AoE magical damage with the lightning procs, but is also hitting his nether toxins very frequently. So the second that a target drops below half HP, he's just going to absolutely execute them. And on top of that, the Ogre is now a prime player with this Unrefined Fire Blast. Still would have prioritized the Ags of the Ancient Apparition over the Ogres, but in the end, they'll be able to have their cake and eat it too, as AA is well over halfway there. But the other thing to mention, of course, is the Tide is working towards that Refresh Orb, and 500 gold, he'll have it. Down bottom.
Yeah, the Ice Blast is going. Is my camera going to get there in time, though? That's a kill right there.
2 seconds on Song of the Siren.
That's just unfortunate. Well, honestly, it wouldn't have mattered, right? Because the Ice Blast was going to be there anyways.
No, I would say the damage that put her into Shatter Threshold, she could have
Yeah, I
nullified
guess
it
wouldn't
sooner.
have happened, right?
They would have at least forced a Ravage there if they saw the song animation, but no, they knew the timing. They timed it out, and they were able to get the kill right when it counted.
Yeah, and they're going to transition that into a backdoor into Tier 2, but now the creeps will show up. And, well, MVP, they're down 2 towers right now because this tower stands in their way. They'll make it down 1 tower. The Tier 2 middle is still there for Pokerface. But MVP, like, I looked at Pokerface and I'm like, these guys surely have the better draft. But stopping the Enigma and just the decision-making, the synergy here with the Ice Blast pickoffs that they have been able to get, it's really been Dubu and
She used in the
Sunbeam
mid lane with Exorcism.
keeping them in the game. The Rat Dota is pretty annoying. They got Eidolons, the Exorcism, it forces TPs back, and they do get some damage on the Tier 3. So the Rat Dota is still definitely a concern for MVP.
I don't know. I don't know about using your Exorcism on the front line like that. I guess it does like keep them up for a little bit longer, but I don't really feel that Naga Siren is in a position where she should just be created space for time and time again. Like, at this point, she should be online well enough to spread the map herself and kind of do that for their team. Like, if the Naga wasn't picked off so many times, they wouldn't have to pop an Exorcism there, and their next fight would be stronger. But because the Naga keeps getting picked off, it's a decision they have to make, and it sucks, because now MVP.Hot6 have full control of this state of the game. You have the Diffusal Blade up on Raji, at least Diffusal 1. He's going to be going Manta style most likely next to spread even more illusions. Diffusal Blade used to be the most damage per gold you could get out of your ultimate on Spectre. It was extremely efficient as an item pickup. They did obviously nerf the potential for Diffusal 2, but it reduced the cost of Diffusal 1, so I guess at least for that first rank, the point still stands. So obviously there's not as much incentive to rank it up twice. Wow, the Ravage comes through, looking for the double Ravage, but not able to get it off here in time. But the Ice Blast, finishing it anyways. No song for you. Back of the line. It's all over when the fat lady sings, but unfortunately, Naga's not as nearly as farmed as she'd like to be.
No, not at all. Well, Ancient Apparition, you said you were worried. Well, not really worried, but you would have maybe put the Ags on Ancient Apparition first. Well, it doesn't matter because he's got it now as soon as he gets back into that base. And, of course, Ogre has his, so you got the obligatory it's all Ogre now to say, so I will. But here you go. There's a Ravage number 1. Can't get number 2 because there's the BKB here. Is it going to be enough to stop him? No, he's still Black Hold, so actually did use both Ravages already. Maybe I just didn't notice it.
He used the first one on Naga.
First one was on Naga. Okay, that makes sense. So a little out of sync, but he gets them both off, and it's a 5-man wipe, no buybacks here, and they're into the base. They can get the bot lane of Rax, I think, no problem here, because even if Naga is up, there's no sleep for another minute. The thing they can't do, though, is transition to the middle lane of Rax, because that tower's still there. Maybe they take the long haul top, but I highly doubt it. I think they'll just get the melee, leave the range, because Naga's there, and it is kind of dangerous.
So, I mean, your base battered and bruised, your Naga Siren dying like 3 times in 5 minutes, now down to a 1, 5, and 4 KDA, right when she should be farming the most with that Manta BOTs, and the Radiance, of course. And, yeah, it's not looking good. Not looking good at all. We see the Heart of Terras going to come out for Jubei pretty soon, so pretty much all the damage you see from Pokerface can be shrugged off by him. Like, other than Midnight Pulse scales pretty well with HP, but everything else is not going to do anything because he's got that corrosive skin, which has the magic resistance, which has the armor, and then of course he's got that huge amount of raw HP going to be coming. So at this point, they really don't have the damage to kill Viper unless he's in Midnight Pulse for 4 or 5 seconds at least. And obviously I keep talking about Midnight Pulse because not only does it scale on HP, but it is also pure damage going right through that corrosive benefit.
It's pretty good. That's why it got nerfed. And there was, what was that thread on Reddit the other day that the second point's actually worse?
What got nerfed?
Midnight. Didn't they do some weird damage?
All they did was change it from a universal damage because they wanted to get rid of that idea.
Oh, right, the damage
pure damage, which pierces immunity.
Not gonna lie, didn't read it. There was a lot of words.
That was the best part of the patch, man.
There was a lot of words.
Solidifying damage types. It's so cool.
That's Blaze's job. My job is to not read it because there was too many words. Raji in a little bit of trouble, but the Ice Blast is coming in to bail him out, so I'm not actually sure who's in trouble right now. I think it's MP. He will be forced to use the sleep. Only level 15, and let's just take a moment to realize Spectre's level 21. Some of you probably already realized that. But that means 120-second cooldown, which means 2-minute cooldown on that sleep. Maybe MVP takes down another lane of racks in that time. We'll have to wait and see.
The only nerf that really happened with the Enigma, the Midnight Pulse in particular, is the fact that you can't amplify it with things like Veil of Discord, Ice Vortex, Ancient Seal, stuff like that. Even Natural Order will not enhance this damage. It is just pure damage, straight and true. So it's good in the sense that you're using it against a Viper, but if you were looking to amplify it, you don't have that option anymore. But as far as the damage numbers, they should, without any other factors, they should be nearly identical.
Did they not do cooldown?
Yeah, I mean, that's not, you were talking about damage tech though.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to cover my tracks and act like I wasn't wrong.
Yeah, Midnight Pulse is like 20-second cooldown. It's not 35. I can look it up.
But anyways, I think the point I really was trying to make was it says it does 3.75% damage per second, but it still only does 3, and then it costs more mana. So like it's actually worse at
it's bugged?
0.2. Yeah, that's what Reddit was saying, and Reddit seems like they're usually right about number things. Opinions. Well, I guess opinions aren't right or wrong, but
you obviously haven't read enough Reddit to make that kind of statement. But no, yeah, I would have to say that the Midnight Pulse thing, if it's bugged, then it's probably true. Otherwise, people would have just downvoted it. So
yeah,
get on at Valve. But there's so many. There's just little tiny things. Either way. It's not like you look at a Midnight Pulse and be like, level 2, and be like, yeah.
Like, well, that's not doing enough damage.
0.75. You know, you get 1 point to farm jungle a little bit faster. You get the 3rd and 4th point to actually do teamfight AoE damage. You never really think about Midnight Pulse level 2 and its contribution as it scales.
Yeah, it was a small thing.
Yeah.
But like you said, clearing even to jungle faster just by like clearing trees and opening up paths and opening up the ability to stack 2 camps at once, like you can do here. Can be pretty cool. Obviously, the damage when someone has a heart is nice as well, and that's where Juby is. His unique Viper build, but is really working out.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. It works very well in this situation.
There's a Ravage 1, and the multicast. They don't even need Ravage 2. He'll stop animated. The Ice Blast coming in, trying to land on Febby, not the biggest radius, so it will miss. As Raji keeps chasing. The buyback is there. The black hole is available, so they will back off, be a little bit more cautious. The haunt was used. And MP is rat doting out the top lanes, so I think it's MVP slowing down. They would really like to get this middle tier 2 tower, though. It's what stopped them from like winning the game.
Yeah, they finally de-ward this ward. The ward that set up that Ravage right there. It was on the high ground, and they saw the Enigma, and yeah, they were like, okay, well, there's no way he literally just walked into our cliff, blinked into our cliff, and ravaged blind. They had to have some vision, so they did get the D ward out there. But again,
wow, they're just gonna walk straight into that, and that's not even a ward. He will get the black hole off. I'm surprised Lightning Shield hasn't killed him yet. There it goes. Tide will die. He's got buyback available. Exorcism is all right. Gonna start kicking back in there after the sleep turns off, and they will bring down the Viper. Nuts also stuck around. Everyone's very, very low. He'd love to stun somebody, but I don't think he's going to find the opportunity with that. What is it now? 6-second silence. And Raji's like, well, I was gone, guys. I don't know what you're doing. He does have boots of travel. He could have technically went back in.
Seems pretty silly, but that was actually a really big combo of pickoffs. I mean, you'll take anything you can get when you're only at 7 kills, but jumping it up to 10 here, they commit all their ultimates, every single one, but in the end, they get a 4,300 gold swing, as well as a 10,000 experience game. Like, just absolutely insane how much they're able to get out of that, and that's not with the Spectre involved. Like, if they pick off a Spectre twice, that's crazy, but I don't...
Well, Spectre was there. I feel like they would have all died on the side of Pokerface, even without the haunt.
Maybe. It's hard to say. In this situation, he's got the Aegis. He definitely has a lot of potential, but I don't know. I think they could control him well enough.
Yeah, the Exorcism maybe burns him down since he does have 4 points in dispersion, but no heart.
You just have to have everybody stay as far away as possible for the dispersion not to do enough.
To kill all of you guys again. Yeah, well, he wasn't there. Maybe a bit of a misstep for MVP. They do have quite a cushion, though, so the misstep won't hurt too much. It was 20,000, maybe even 25,000 ahead in experience, which is why that swing was so drastic. Only 12,000 in gold. let's not forget, they did bring down the melee racks. So far, they haven't, and or the creep haven't been able to get back into the base to deal with the ranged. I would guess, due to the Naga here infesting the bottom lane and just split pushing, doing Naga things.
Yeah. So Rodgi still saving up 4,600 gold. I think he's going for the refresher orb. Could be going for something like a butterfly. If it was Manta style, he probably would have already gotten it. He's got 3,600 unreliable. So yeah, he has plenty to spend on Manta there. But yeah, I mean, in this position, if he goes for the refresher orb, I think that's pretty much game. Like if they've got double Ravage, double Haunt, there's almost nothing you can do.
Double Viper Strike? No, just kidding.
Double Mjolnir, Static Charge.
Quadruple Fire Blasts.
Jeez, you would not have mana.
That would yeah. That was, well, you'd always have mana for unrefined Fire Blast. That
no,
actually
but like
be kind of legit.
You would cast Fire Blast, unrefined. You would refresher, and you would only have mana for the unrefined.
Yeah,
there's no way you could actually 60% of your mana.
Well,
drain,
if you have
then
mana
refresh.
boots and like. I think you can pull it off. I think I'm gonna do it eventually in my life.
Okay, okay. You proved me wrong. You send me that replay. I'll cast it for you.
I will. I don't need it cast. It's okay. Cast it myself, Blaze.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, so I agree. I think the refresher on Spectre is maybe the nail in the coffin.
Oh, we'll see. Butterfly is still fine, but Heart of Tarask also worth mentioning, though, again, has the same weaknesses that I talked about with the Heart on Viper. Still goes for it, though. So, yeah, 4-man Dota in the mid lane, just keeping Pokerface penned in. The Naga is the only one outside, trying to farm up the jungle and find Windows opportunity, but eventually there's going to be a Haunt in, there's going to be a Ravage, they're just looking for the opportunity.
Uh-oh.
Now it's vacuumed into the base.
Lots of Acceptors, no Force Staffs, but they'll bail you out with that, and here comes in the Haunts. Sky's about to die just to the illusion, will die just to the illusion. It ignites to help him on his way to the grave. Buyback now on the Darkseer. All right, there's the black hole on Taraji. That Ravage, I don't think hit anything. Maybe he couldn't blink because of the Exorcism, and now the Exorcism is what's kind of tearing him apart. But, you know, Kraken Shell, pretty good.
Kraken Shell does not work against Exorcism.
I know, that was more for, like, the metaphor, like... He's, whatever. I'm too tired
no metaphor.
to care.
You know Twitch Shadow tear metaphors apart. You gotta be literal with this one.
I'm going to sleep.
Probably a good idea. It's just, you can have a camera in the corner, and I'll just radio Dota it.
This is technically my 6th cast, because I did 2 CSGO games.
Yeah, but you had, like, hours in between. Like, that's... And you played games, like...
But I couldn't sleep.
I would be absolutely beat.
I was killing chickens for the new achievements in CSGO.
Shaking my head.
They needed me.
So I have like real problems. I have like a kid that wakes up at 3 a.m. and doesn't go to sleep for 5 hours.
Does sound like I'm watching 2 small dogs, but I can actually just ignore them and they'll be okay.
Yeah, you don't got baby rage issues.
No, I'd like to see some baby rage Twitch chat spam though, so guys, you could get on that.
If we say enough baby rage, then maybe. But yeah, so we've got the Eul Scepter Divinity up on the Ancient Apparition. Needs to use the Midas for some value there. Needs to use the Midas for some value there.
Report, Ancient Apparition, Baby Rage. There it is.
Anyways, top lane, we're actually going to see another Clash of the Titans. Maybe not the same as before. We have this short cooldown song this time around, but and it costs 100 mana. If you actually like Manta right-clicked, or he isn't a Manta. Okay, if you surprise him with 3 right-clicks, then he won't get the song.
Hey, I'm not actually here. It's just an illusion, Michael.
It's a ghost.
MP. No Blink Abyssal. I feel like that's always good to have on anybody.
Any hexes? No. You go
yeah,
right
or
for Blink
sheep,
Abyssal.
I guess, would work too, but it did go for the heart. And it could be enough. I guess at this point you could probably get rid of the Vanguard and then maybe go for another item. You know, just to keep the casual Yasha longer. Or turn it into a Manta. We'll see, though. They're trying to push the high ground. Fortify is available for Pokerface right now. That was not a great Ice Path, nor Macro Pyre.
Micro Pyre right here.
Yeah, Michael Pyre. That's still a joke, right?
No.
This game's still in beta.
TI3?
This game's still in beta, right?
Where is it?
I think it's 2017.
Alright, deny! The first big deny of the game coming out.
Yeah, never good to deny tier 3s, though, really.
It's sometimes good to deny tier 3. If you have wolves at your door, you might as well just deny.
Well, then you've lost because you're playing against a Lycan.
Easy game.
It's almost true. It's true when EG has it.
Well, that's because they get a Tide and a Lycan. And then you have to buy BKBs and then get crit lorded down immediately after.
It hurts.
It's not just the Lycan, it's everything around it.
It's the whole
Anyways,
package.
Yule's people flying up in the air. Nice song, actually. Will we get a good black hole here between
find
two heroes that
three.
can do it? But the BKB is cool. What is the BKB? He's gonna get stunned out immediately.
Yeah, okay, there's the Ravage one. Ancient Apparition has fallen. Now Enigma is going to go to a grave. MP, though, being focused, and obviously the sleep has already been used. Buyback double there on the Death Prophet, on the Naga Siren. It's 29-11. MVP with pure domination so far, bringing down another lane of racks here. MP about to have the dieback. 4, is that a 2 and then a 4? That's 6 times the multicast there, and it's the dieback in the most frustrating fashion there for the Naga Siren. They pull Raji through the wall. That Yule Scepter kind of saved him, but they'll kill him anyways. Buyback is there on the Spectre, on the Viper, and on the Tidehunter, so no chance of them losing. In fact, they could probably just buy back and run down middle, but I don't think they're going to.
That would be pointless. But, yeah, still, I mean, the pickups are real. I mean, in the end, they still have 3 racks standing. You've got Darkseer, Enigma, Naga Siren at 45 minutes, and you just got 4K gold. I'm not saying they're, like, going to win this game, but they're not going to lose it just yet. They still have a few more tricks up their sleeve until the refresher comes out on the Spectre or an Aegis goes into the inventory of MVP.Hot6. And Roche free spawning at the maximum potential time. Cheese and Aegis on the battlefield, but yeah, I think it's going to be on that black hole cooldown if they can actually contest it. Just rehashing in that last fight, the Song of the Sarwin was up so long as 48-85 was like, oh, do I go black hole here? Do I black hole here? By the time he actually got the black hole off, he had 1 or 2 seconds left on that BKB. Ogre stuns him out immediately, and they just clean up from there.
All right, I would just like to point out that Twitch chat caught up to Baby Rage, so plenty of spam. They believe in your parenting skills.
Man, I'm best dad.
Yeah, although I feel like every dad is best dad, like by default of being the only dad. Well, maybe not in 2014. You're not the only dad, but you know.
I don't even know. This game is this series. I'm not even gonna say this game because this is 47.
Yeah, this is actually. I feel like I'm ruining possibly what has been the best series ever in the history of best of fives.
I mean, they go long. There's no doubt about it. But in this case, going game 4, doubtful to see a game 5. But it has been a very, very long one. And yeah, even the casters have to pull out some casual talk here. Still no black hole. This is the big deal. If they had black hole up now, this would be an easy contest. Could be a huge turn, but time is not on their side. If they just go in and take the Roche now, there's nothing that can be done. But for right now, they're playing around with illusions, and that's going to buy them the 20 seconds they need.
There's
Spectre
the
will,
refresh.
however, get the refresher orb, double haunt, perhaps saves one. Well, she doesn't have enough money for buyback now, so she can't haunt, buyback, refresher, haunt, but she can still just do 2 haunts in one fight. Anyways, looking for an Aegis Snatch, perhaps. She drops an item on the ground and looks to Song, but at least for the moment, Roche is still sitting clean at 4K HP.
Roshan's have been very awkward this series, but there's a solo Ravage on MP. Okay, double Ravage on the solo MP. They bring down the Naga, 70 seconds. There is a black hole onto 1, but it's just a Tidehunter. Meanwhile, Spectre Illusions killing Sky. Now Spectre comes in, and we'll try to bring down, is the Desolate damage enough? No, actually it's the Malefice that keeps him alive. It stuns out the Spectre. Can't get in the damage there, that pure damage.
I'd just like to say that using your big super team fight ultimate on the only hero that does any damage as a carry versus using it on the hero that already had used all of their cooldowns and has absolutely nothing left to bring to the fight, there's a bit of a discrepancy.
It was
there.
desperation.
Great Ravages, shameful black holes. I like the fact that they drafted it and tried it and obviously went to look to execute, but in the end, it just wasn't enough. The Spectre got farmed, the Enigma had a really slow start, and the tower roll, although it was strong at first, it just wasn't sufficient to break to the high ground. They didn't have the full map control. The big items started coming out from MVP.Hot6, and they took a few really, really good fights. In the end, yeah, some deaths here and there on like the core heroes, the Spectre, the Viper, but so many more on this Naga Siren. 8 deaths on a Naga. It's not really to his fault so much as the circumstances around this entire game, but damn, the MVP.Hot6 played a great series and they take it 3-1.
They just Pokerface lacked the patience from Zhao. I think maybe that's what they lacked out of this draft. But wow, what a series! Like, we started off with game one. Like, game one was, it's pretty standard, but overall it was a pretty exciting game. Game two had a sniper in it, so that's always kind of fun. Game three is where we just get ridiculous. We went off the rails on a crazy train. That game
itself was ridiculous.
Yeah, that wasn't even Dota, but what really is anyways, it's going too deep. And then game four, I mean, it's just sick play by MVP. It was a really good, I felt like it was a good draft. Maybe sometimes when you go like too much Wombo and you really rely on everything landing to win a team fight, it's not good news because you're not going to get that all the time and you're reliant on long cooldowns. So it's not a big surprise it doesn't work out, but flawless play by MVP, and this was a fantastic series, and this was only the semifinals. We've got another one coming up tomorrow starting at 1900 SGT, that's Singapore time, local to probably the majority of the viewers, starting at, 6 a.m. Eastern time for the American viewers. If you're in Europe, I believe it's at noon Central Europe time, so stick around. Stick around. Stay here until tomorrow. No, tune in tomorrow, but thanks for joining us for a ridiculous series in the MPGL Season 6 Wildcard. I'm Helium, there in the top right, at Heliumbrella on Twitter. Blaze at Blaze Casting. And any final words? Say goodbye, Baby Rage?
Baby Rage. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you tomorrow.
All right, peace out.